Did your battery ever run low on ammunition?
What do you mean, battery?
Well, the guns you were stationed on, did they ever run low on ammunition?
No, no. Our supplies were excellent. The Royal Army Service Corps got everything up to us. Mind you, we had command of the skies, thanks to the RAF. I mean, the Luftwaffe tried, but they were outgunned and outfought. I mean, we took the edge off them in the Battle of Britain, because I think we killed off a good number of their best pilots then. I say we, I mean the gallant boys of the RAF, because what it must have been like to go out day after day. No, you're going to, if you survive this day, you're going to do it again tomorrow, because the Germans came every day and to London, you know, because I was living in Northwest, well, Harrow I lived in then, and I did feel a great respect for them, because no wonder they used to come home after raid and get Brahms and listening in the factory, in the bar at their airfield station. You know the rhyming slang, do you? You're not a Londoner, I don't suppose, like I am. Born within Chelsea football ground, who I knew, still support, God help me. I was born in Fulham, actually.
Do you, you mentioned you were living in Harrow during the bombing. Do you remember what kind of damage there was in
Not a lot in Harrow. It was the nearest, there was strange enough, we had brick-built shelters in the road in those days, no windows or anything. It was like a little hut, but it was reinforced brick, and you could go in there. That was a bomb shelter, and I don't say it would survive any bomb, but any that with a blast alone, there were no windows, so there was nothing to blow out, and people did go in there, but majority of people seemed, like my mum and dad, used to sleep under the table, under the dining table in the living rooms, and it was an old-fashioned one, quite thick, so if any bits of the ceiling fell down, they should have been all right. But I was there for the Blitz. I didn't go in till October 41, so I was in London for the Blitz, and I went to work in the Blitz and came home in the Blitz. And you'd hear a noise at night. I'd look out my window, and a few doors down there was blokes fighting one of the incendiary bombs that come down with and they had the old buckets of sand, you know, but you never knew. Well, you didn't know anything what a day was going. I mean, the things like poor buggers who went down in town to the Café de Paris, and there was Snake Hips Johnson, his name was, the black man, had a jazz band, and he was very popular, and he used to perform in one of the nightclubs down there, and they were all in there, and Jerry's, but they used to carry on with the air raiders. We all did. The theatres went on. I don't know quite how we did it, but we did. And in this particular nightclub, it was unfortunate. One high explosive went straight through into the basement where the nightclub was and exploded, and it killed all the band. And I don't know how many revellers with it, but it must have been like slaughterhouse down there. And there's a lot of ones that, you know, there's powers that be didn't really want to tell you much about, because morale, you know, it could be when you weren't getting any sleep to speak, when you had to go to work, and they all even came over during the day, and because I worked at used to be Sunbeam Talbot's Roots Group car factory, because we were making aircraft parts, and that was in Acton. And I lived in Harrow, but I used to ride on my bike to Acton. And I went in one morning and there was a factory on the other side of the road was blazing. And it blazed very well because it was a soap factory. But you know what? Our factory never got hit, and we were making armoured cars and all sorts of things like that. And well, that's a long time ago. And one thing that still makes me laugh, I was in the Home Guard there, I volunteered. And one day in the Home Guard, a new person arrived. And I knew he was a new employee, but he was not a tall fella, not a short, a middle-shaped fella. And I can't even remember his name. But he had a sort of military bearing, and we had ranks in the Home Guard. There was sergeants, lieutenants, and he was, because he said he had an army record, so I think they made him a captain or something in the Home Guard. And time went on a bit, and suddenly he vanished. And on the orders that you posted up what was happening, and there's so-and-so rejoins regular army. He was only a bloody deserter, wasn't he? And he got himself a job at our factory, because I always wanted men for work, and got himself an officer's job in the Home Guard, complete with uniform, and everybody called him Mister, because that was the lieutenant. Any Mister you called a lieutenant, captain you called captain, but a second lieutenant particularly was always Mister. And even in the regular army, it was always Mister.
During the bombing in 1940, do you remember anyone saying that Britain should surrender?
No, no one even thought of it. Well, if they did, I didn't hear them. No, my dad was a bit despondent, but he didn't think, with all the odds against us, we could make it. And he did say, well, perhaps it wouldn't be so bad. I'm afraid I shot him down in flames, as you might. But I could talk. I wasn't in the bloody forces anyway, but I was soon after. But I said, you want us to be under foreign domination? Can't you see what's happening in Europe, you know? And well, I love my dad, so he was a special in World War One. He volunteered, although he was over age. He volunteered for the army, and they wouldn't take him because he had flat feet. So he joined the special constabulary. And both my brothers were in World War One. Len was in the trenches, and Alf was the younger one.
And he said he was in Cologne, same.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah. And he married Lulu, French lady. But oh well, not a very unusual story. We all got our stories, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
But
did you ever see anyone behave badly during the bombing?
What, running or anything like that?
Well, I don't know, stealing or pushing others aside or that sort of
thing? No, never. I mean, I wasn't in all of it, because as soon as you get out of it, you got out. I mean, the place to go was down the underground, because people slept in rows all night down on the pavements, because they knew no bomb could get down there. And if I don't blame them, if you were a Londoner, especially in East London or around there, I mean, how people ever slept, I don't know. It was bad enough in the outskirts Harrow around here, you know. You hear that whoop, whoop. I mean, you knew the sound of German aircraft. You knew what it was straight away. Different from ours entirely. And, well, we were scared, you know, but you got on with it, you went to work, and it happened at work at Acton. We were making aircraft parts, wings, because it was some mean Talbots cars before. And the old siren would go, and we used to just walk in orderly file down the stairs to the air raid shelters in the basement. And you'd hear crump, crump, and because we had a standing joke because there was a notice on about any bangs you might hear. Might be only a falling brick. And of course, there's a great thump with the wag to say, there's that falling brick again. but thank God the sense of humour stuck with us as part of the British, I think.